Right, good morning, welcome back. Now today I want to change the fork oil in the Big Triumph Trophy. It's one of those jobs that gets neglected quite often because it's a time service thing. It's every 2 years you change your fork oil, not on mileage. Now this bike was new to me back in the summer. I've done all the other fluids but not the forks. So the fork oil in there could be 6 months old or it could be 6 years old. It could be black as you're at, I've no idea. So we'll suck the old oil out, we'll put some new stuff in, I'll check the springs for service length while they're out, and then we'll put it all back together, and then I'll do a sag test as well to see how the old girl's performing after 28 years. Right, as this is just an oil change, I'm going to use a vacuum fluid extractor to take the old oil out. It's got a hard tube which reaches all the way down to the bottom of the fork leg, so it sucks practically all of the sludge out. Yes, of course, there's a residue left behind, and if you want to get rid of absolutely everything, then strip your forks down and wash everything and then put them back together. That's the other way to do it, far more thorough. But for just an oil change, this is perfectly adequate. And if you take your bike into the dealer to have a fork oil change, this is all they'll do unless there's a drain screw at the bottom, which on this bike, there isn't. Well, I think that's answered the question. That is absolutely stinking. Smells of sulphur, it's grey and watery, it's just horrible. Glad to get rid of that. Now, if you're going to use one of these vacuum extractors, a good little trick is to now give it about an hour for whatever's clinging to the side of the tube to pool at the bottom, and have another go and get the rest of it out, or even leave it overnight if you can, because the more of that you can get out, the better. Right, the manual tells me that my fork springs should have a free length of 473mm. So measuring them, that one is 472, and the other one 472. Now that's a millimetre shorter, but it's chilly in here, it's about 14 degrees. I reckon on a hot day they'd be a millimetre longer. It's never going to be exact unless you knew the temperature that they were measured at when they were set in the manual. So those are most definitely well within spec. Let's put the oil in. Right, that's half a litre in both. Now to measure the air gap on top of the oil, if the forks are out of the bike, normally you collapse them all the way down till they bottom out and then you measure the air gap. Well, they're both still in the bike. So the easiest thing is jack the wheel up until it bottoms out and then measure them both. Right, the other use of your fluid extractor isn't just to suck the old oil out, it's to set the new oil level as well. So the oil level on this, with the forks fully collapsed up, is 84mm according to the book. So I'll put a piece of tape up the tube to 84mm, put the tube into the tape, suck out the excess oil, and my oil level is dead correct. Right, now I'm not going to bang on about this because it's a massive subject and everyone's an expert. I just want to mention fork sag. I'm going to check mine to make sure it's within spec. So, cable tie around the fork leg, that gives me an indicator. Push it down on the dust cap. Sit on the bike, allow it to settle to where it's going to settle. Don't bounce it, you'll get a false reading. Just allow it to settle on its own weight. Then get off it, get it up on the stand and get the front wheel off the ground. Jack up under the engine, get the wheel off the ground, and then the forks will extend to their maximum length. Then measure between the cable tie and the top of the dust cap. That's how much sag you've got. And it wants to be between 1/4 and 1/3 of the bike's full range of movement. On this bike, that's 150mm, so mine wants to be between 37.5 and 50mm. Ideally in the middle. So somewhere like 42 to 45mm of sag is what I want. I've got my cable tie in place, so let's check. Right, there we are, 45mm of sag on the bike, exactly where I need it to be. Perfect, right in the middle of the range of adjustment. New oil, springs the correct length, sag's absolutely perfect. Really happy. Now, join us in the next one and we'll take the Triumph Scrambler bodywork to the paint shop. See you then.